question that some people have is, when it comes to my children, how do I encourage them to pray? Some find difficulty when children or when certain youngsters, such as girls, come to the age of 9. And it is wajib upon them to pray. And, for example, they refuse to perform their salah. Or they say to their mothers and fathers, I'm going to pray in my room. They go to their room and they don't pray. And there are some of our sisters today who have years of qada salah to perform, because when they were young, when they were 9, 10, 11, 12, they did not perform their prayers. And so this is a struggle that some of the parents face. How do we encourage our youngsters to perform their prayers? What are the tips that can be presented in this regard? Number one, if we want our own children to be continuously performing their salah, then we must be leading by example. If we want our children to pray on time, we must pray on time. If we want our children to wake up for Fajr, we must pray for Fajr. If we want our children not to miss their prayers, we must not miss our prayers. Therefore, children learn much more by action than by words. They will emulate. Parents have to be the best role models. They have to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. Yes? Without a shadow of a doubt. Number one. Number two, we must practice what is known as positive reinforcement, especially for young children. What does that mean? From a young age, we should be encouraging them to perform the salah by rewarding them and saying, this reward is not from us. The reward from God is great. But this is a small thing to say, well done. Mark these words. What does that mean? Positive reinforcement means that sometimes we have these charts. Sometimes we have ways in which the child somehow has something to look forward to. When they complete a week of prayer, they are rewarded, they are encouraged, they are congratulated. Yes. Number three, of great importance, we must start from a young age. Please mark these words. Some of our brothers and sisters believe that we can delay it until the maximum later years, just before our children reach bulugh. People come forward and say, my daughter doesn't want to pray. She's refusing to perform her salah. Why? I ask them, when did you ask or begin to show them salah? They reply, maybe when they were 8 or 7, or when they reach the age of 9. Similar action or case happens when it comes to hijab as well. You expect that girl to wear the hijab at 9, and you have not made her into the habit of doing so from a younger age? This requires some kind of positive encouragement from early ages. Sometimes, yes, we can dictate what age we recommend and encourage them. It should not be something that is forced. It should not be something that is presented with aggression, because they will then resent it. But rather, should be presented with love, with consideration and understanding. Number four, we must encourage our youngsters to understand why they pray. Please mark these words. Why is it that I stand before God the Almighty? What is the purpose of salah? What is it that I am saying in salah? What is the meaning of sajda? What is the meaning of Surah Al-Fatiha? The chapters that I recite, do I understand the tafsir of them? Can I explain to my children the meaning behind these chapters? Can I be equipped with that or not? This is of great importance, because if the child is enlightened on why they do what they do, they will perform the deeds with much more encouragement, yes, with much more know-how. Similarly, of great importance, number 5, is to infuse into our children the love of God. This love of Allah is a very powerful tool. We are told when an individual has a love of God, everything falls into place. And how amazing if a child begins to experience the elixir of the love of God from a young age. How amazing that is. I tell you, when you and I explain to our children that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with so many bounties, with so many favors. He has given us so much that we must be thankful to Him for. And one of the ways in which we can be thankful is to stand in Salah. That Salah is an expression of gratitude and shukr towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That it is at least something that we can do to express our love to Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't need it, but we benefit from it. That Salah helps us. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Surely, verily, Salah prohibits the human being from the performance of what? Vices and evil. All these small pointers will help the child to understand why they should be performing the Salah. Number 6 of importance is what? To perform dua. To ask Allah, Ya Allah, help me. This is not easy in an age where our children want to be playing PS4, want to be on their phones. Yes, our children want fun and games all the time. To be able to inspire them to pray is not an easy process. Therefore, it requires you and I to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the means of praying is to recite the dua of Prophet Ibrahim. What is the dua of Prophet Ibrahim? You know, when Ibrahim alayhi salam left Mecca, when he left his wife Hajar and his son Ismail, do you know what the first thing he asked the Almighty? رَبَّنَا لِيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. Ya Allah, I want them to establish prayers. He didn't ask for nourishment. He didn't ask for food and security and safety and an accommodation. He says, what I need and what I want and what I would be happy for is to know that my family is establishing Salah. That is why his dua is what? رَبِّ اجْعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاء. Ya Allah, make me of the individual who establishes prayers as well as my offsprings. Ya Allah, accept my supplication. Therefore, you come forward and say that there is a verse, chapter 25, verse 74, which is of great importance to recite in order for our children to what? To practice their faith. وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Quran says they are the servants of the Almighty, merciful, the ones who come forward and say, Ya Allah, give us spouse and children that are the apple of our eyes, and make them leaders of the God-wary. Make them the best of the best. Number 7, of very interesting idea is to empower our children when it comes to Salah. What do we mean? Make them responsible for adhan. Make them responsible for reading the dua between the salahs. Yes. Give them the responsibility of putting the prayer mats and making them ready. When you empower them and make them responsible for something, they look forward. They feel a sense of privilege and honor. That what? That I've been given a responsibility that I must fulfill. Number 8, perform Salatul Jama'ah. Together. The father leads, the wife behind him, the mother, and the children, if they're not baligh. If they're baligh, they are behind, as far as boys are concerned, and the ladies behind them. This is beautiful. It solicits and brings forth a harmonious family relationship based on their obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the establishment of prayer. Number 9, yes, of the tips of how I should make my son or daughter pray when they're young is to speak to them all the time about Jannah, Jannah and Jannah. Speak to them about paradise, the beauties of paradise, the bounties of paradise, the greatness of paradise, how it is something that Allah has created us for, how Salah accelerates our entry towards that lofty place. And once we enter, we do not leave. Yes. And number 10, we become people who explain how Salah becomes an instrumental factor to the success of the human being later in life. And if our youngsters face challenges or difficulties, we become patient, as the Quran tells us. And steadily, yes, we are with them. Yes. We do not abandon them and say, go and pray in your room. Go and pray whenever. Yes, we are with them all the time, giving them advice with good counsel.